we had a great first quarter of 2026, and we talked about that a number of months ago, that it was fantastic, and it did extremely well, overperformed, kind of looking like pre-pandemic numbers. But when the pandemic happened after 2019 and the box office crashed, and streaming became more prevalent, a lot of people said the box office will never recover. We will never get back to pre-pandemic levels. It just ain't going to happen. And then when it started showing signs of coming back, then we had the dual writers and actor strikes, and content got halted, and all of a sudden box office dried up again. And again, people said, we will never get back to pre-pandemic levels. Well, at a conference that's going on right now, the CEO of Cinemark Theaters, one of the biggest movie theater chains in the world, got on stage and said, according to their internal data and that of other outlets as well, they said their projection right now for the summer of 2026 is between $4.2 and $4.3 billion. Now, the reason that number is significant is because that puts this summer, if it does come in, remember, it could go higher. If it does come in at those numbers, it puts this summer on par with the summer of 2019, the final year before the pandemic. Take a look at this chart. Now, the numbers are a little bit small for you guys to see, but right there at the end. Now, that right now, they said anywhere between 4.2 and 4.3. On this chart, we've got it at the low end, at 4.2. That's the low end, okay? Now, in 2023, you saw it spiked a bit with $4.0 billion. That was the Barbenheimer thing that happened, right? But it was never able to replicate that. Of course, you see in 2020 with the pandemic, and in 2019, $4.3 billion. Of course, the year before that was incredibly huge at 4.8. The year before that, a little bit lower at 3.8. But if this summer comes in a projected 4.2, or let's go to the high end, 4.3, 4.4, it will be equal to or higher than the pre-pandemic levels. Now, Rob, you couple that data with the fact that we had such a huge first quarter at this year, it's kind of looking like you're not crazy if you say the box office has now recovered from the pandemic. It took, as we all said it would, years to happen, but it kind of looks like we're there now. And we've got a lot of bigger movies coming out, not just this summer, but then the third and fourth quarters have a lot of big monstrous movies. Of course, don't forget, we got Doomsday coming, for heaven's sakes. And these numbers aren't even taking those into consideration. So, I mean, that's great news. It's a very positive sign. No doubt it is. Everybody should be happy. Everybody in the industry should be happy and all that kind of stuff. Yes. However, I do want to point out, while this is very good numbers, and this is very, very good data, there is still, though, an asterisk that you have to put on there. I'm not taking away from the fact that this is good news. It is. But the asterisk that remains is this. A lot of that box office from quarter one and now what they're projecting from the summer is partially attributed to the premium large formats and the higher ticket prices. Now, you guys know that inflation is not something you should ever take into consideration, because you can't take one variable into consideration. If you're going to take one variable into consideration, you got to take all 50 variables into consideration. So that's pointless. However, I do want to point out that while this summer may actually exceed the summer of 2019, fewer people will have actually gone to the movies. It's making more money, but with slightly fewer people actually going. And Rob, to me, that is the canary in the coal mine that I talk about a lot. That is the big warning thing that I've been trying to yell and scream at theater owners and at the big theater chains forever. If you are losing money, you have two options. Number one, do things that you need to do to get more people to come back. Or number two, charge the few faithful people more money so you can break even. The movie theater industry today has ignorantly and stupidly chosen option number two to, less people are coming, so we're making less money. Let's charge the people who keep coming more money. Oh, and let's waste more of their time by showing them more commercials and trailers than ever before in history before their movie actually starts. A movie that they paid $15, $18, $20, $23 to come and see. So the death spiral is you charge the people who are coming more and give them a less good experience, so even fewer come next year. So since fewer people are coming, you need to raise your prices again and make their experience even worse to try to break even. You do that, which causes even fewer people. So it is good news that we have great, big, blockbuster, fun, indie, horror. We got a great slate of movies coming out, including things like Obsession, Passenger. We got a whole lot of great looking film coming out this year, and people are going. That is great news. But and I'm not trying to rain on the parade. I'm just trying to say, Rob, that while this is good and it should be celebrated, you can't lose sight of the fact that it is still the reality that fewer people are coming today. And if that trend continues, then the movie theater industry will be doomed. So I really hope at some point organizations like Cinema United, that the big chains like Cinemark, AMC, Regal, what have you, realize that, listen, sports teams every once in a while realize they have to do a rebuilding year. A year or two where they realize they're not going to make much money. It's time to rebuild the team. If we just keep doing the way things are doing, we're never going to make the playoffs and we're never going to improve. I hope the theater industry understands that they're just going to have to bite the bullet for a couple of years, keep prices down, shorten preview times, give the audience a better experience. And then instead of just charging more money to make your nut, you actually get more and more people coming in your door to make your nut and exceed it. So again, good news, big summer, back to pre-pandemic levels. That is great. But don't lose sight of the fact that we still have fewer people going today, and that trend needs to be stopped.
We want to take a second to thank a sponsor of today's video, Pocket Hose. Guys, I'm excited to tell you about the world's #1 expanding garden hose and their brand new product, the Pocket Hose Ballistic. As you guys can imagine, I'm not exactly gentle with my gear. I drag hoses across concrete over the pool, yank them around corners. I even coil and uncoil them all the time to put them in my camper van when I go out on my movie meetups. And generally speaking, a lot of them don't last. But the Pocket Hose Ballistic has been a totally different story for me. It's incredibly durable, super lightweight, and just makes the whole job easier. One of my favorite things is how simple it is to use. You turn the water on, it expands. Turn it off, it shrinks right back down to pocket size. And it's reinforced with a liquid crystal polymer, the same kind of material used in bulletproof vests. Plus, it comes with the pocket pivot, which gives you 360-degree rotation at the spigot so it moves with you instead of fighting against you. And now, for a limited time, when you purchase a new Pocket Hose Ballistic, you'll get a free 360-degree rotating pocket pivot and a free thumb drive nozzle. Just text Campea to 64,000. That's CAMPEA to 64,000 for your 2 free gifts with purchase. Text Campea to 64,000. Message and data rates may apply.
Anyway, Rob, you saw this report with the Cinemark CEO saying that they are projecting 4.2 to 4.3 billion this summer, putting it actually back on par with pre-pandemic box office numbers. What stands out to you when you see that data?
Well, look, I mean, as you well know, when you go to the movies, if people have good experiences, they want to go back. I mean, it's as simple as that. And I think that with all the competing entertainment that's available for people, like I can't wait to get the new James Bond game next week, First Light. Looking forward to playing that. Video games, obviously YouTube, all these different things. You have to just keep providing people great experiences at the movie theater. Now, obviously, it's the movies themselves that begin and end with that. And you know what, I love to see these micro budget horror movies. You know, we saw Undertone recently, $500,000 theatrically released. Curry Barker's Obsession, as you pointed out, less than $1 million, is going to gross over 100 million. Now, for a studio, that's not so great because they need to make $1 billion because they're a publicly held company. But when Focus Features picks up a movie like Obsession for 15 mil and it's going to gross 100 million, that keeps Focus Features going and also the movie theaters going. We need a lot more of that. We need a lot more. We've proved that movies will make Gen Z turn out and they don't have to be $100 million films. And did I say Gen Z? Yeah, Gen Z. And I think as long as, and when you get to the movie theater, John, you also have to continue to have a good experience outside of the movie. You know, one of the things I like, you know, I've been going a lot to the Regal Irvine Spectrum. I've come to know like the bartenders there by name, kind of like at the Harkins Mountain Grove as well. I like their app, you know, their points and their things and their VIP section and all the stuff that they do. It's fun to walk in there. The other day I walked in there, they had a giant Castle Grayskull that, you know, you walked through up to the concession booths. And I was like, well, that's pretty cool. And before that, they had a statue of the Mandalorian and Grogu that you could take your picture with. They had a Tron light cycle for Tron Ares. It's like, it's kind of fun. They did a weird thing for Devil Wears Prada where you lined up outside the theater and they had like a giant vending machine and you could get Devil Wears Prada glasses and different like products from the movie. And if you wanted, you could get a Devil Wears Prada 2 glow up. You know, I mean, they're doing all that. And there were people in line for that for like a week. And I'm like, this is all movie theater stuff that is actual. It's making you have a good experience. It's not watching a half an hour of commercials and trailers in the theater. I mean, to be fair, they do about 20 minutes of that. But still, I think it's a continuum. They need to make the movie going experience pleasurable on every level, and ticket prices are just but one. And I think concession prices coming down or putting offers together, deals together, like if you buy things on the app, which they allow you to do, you can get discounts, things like that. All of that's great. And we're getting good movies. But I do think that it has to be attacked on multiple levels.
I remember, Rob. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. I was just going to say that, and I think some places are doing that.
Yeah, but not enough. I'll give you an example of this. You know, we were at the screening at the Regal Spectrum of the finale for The Boys, right? So not a movie, but a theatrical experience, right? Like, here's a great opportunity. Like, for the finale of The Boys, you might be getting a lot of people into the theater who may not be regular moviegoers, right? But want to go see The Boys with a big crowd. This is a great hook 'em opportunity to get people enjoying the movie-going experience. The Boys finale is only 1 hour. So you'd think they would not have their regular 20 to 30 minutes of ads and commercials, right? Wrong. And what happened was, in our screening at any rate, first of all, there's like 8 car commercials, candy bar commercials, whatever. All these commercials start, like the movie's supposed to start at like 9 something. And they're like, when the movie's supposed to start, they played like 15 minutes of commercials. Then the trailers start, right? So we're well past the start time now. And like every time, I kid you not, every time a trailer would end and the screen would go dark, and then when it come up with another trailer, you could audibly hear people in the audience groaning. They're going, like some chuckling and laughing and going, oh my God. And I was one of them, to be honest with you. And I'm like, okay, brainiacs, do you think those people, maybe some of them aren't regular moviegoers and came here to see The Boys? Do you think showing them all these fucking damn ads increase the chances that they're going to come back to your theater next week? Or do you think it decreased the chance that they're going to come back? I'll spoil it for you. It decreased the chance that they're going to come back because you didn't respect their time. And like, I just think that's just something that they have to kind of wrap their dumb, stupid heads around before they run this industry that I love so much into the ground. Anyway, guys, question is for you. What do you think about this? I mean, this is good news. I don't want to make it sound like it's not. It is. It looks like we are now back box office wise to pre-pandemic levels, something that a lot of people said would never happen. I always thought we would, but you got to still understand and keep in mind that it still represents that there are fewer people coming. And if that problem doesn't get addressed, then it doesn't matter what the industry does. It's going to be hurting for years to come unless they get around to that, to getting more people back in the doors. How are they going to do that? By raising more prices? I doubt it. Anyway, whatever you guys think about it, jump down to the comment section below and let us know your thoughts.
Hey guys, thanks so much for watching this video. Make sure you like the video, leave a comment, and subscribe to our channel. And don't forget, we have a daily podcast called the John Campea Show podcast, available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or your favorite podcasting app of choice. Go and subscribe to it today so it'll be there when you need it.